Question 1, will we get history with a Kansas City three-peat?
How awesome is this that we get to witness this? You know, we get so caught up in the big picture sometimes. Remind everybody, we are witnessing greatness with both Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, and we got to appreciate that, and we have the chance to witness history. Can Kansas City get it done and be the first team ever to three-peat?
Hey, Mart, what's your question for the season 2 weeks away?
I want to know, will Jamar Chase and Ayuk be happy with their current teams? Because there's a chance that Brandon Ayuk could be on the move. But if he stays in San Francisco, does that mean he's going to get the money that he wants? Or he'll just say, you know what? I love these guys. I want to run it back with them. I'll stay on my current deal. And also Jamar Chase. We know that the Bengals are not a franchise that want to dole out the cash before they need to. And Jamar Chase, that's a situation where he's not happy. He's woefully underpaid. But again, will those two sides meet, or will he just play like Justin Jefferson did a year ago?
So receiver drama, D. Woody, what's your question 2 weeks left?
I'm going to piggyback off of that. Does CD get his deal done? Listen, we've been talking about this ad nauseum. It seems like CD is their passing offense. Guy led the league in catches and second in receiving yards last season. It's going to be paramount. We're running out of time here. We're running out of time. We're talking about 2 weeks before the regular season starts. You know, opening night for the NFL, and we talk about CeeDee Lamb, one of the most prolific wide receivers that we have in this league, still has not signed a contract. Time is running out to get him ready for week 1.
But it could be some good news. Jerry said there's been productive conversations. What that means, I don't know, as we keep it with America's team. And that continued holdout of CeeDee Lamb for the Dallas Cowboys as we inch closer to week 1. And it might be a problem for a team that's looking to get over that playoff hump. But our Louis Riddick sounds off on the optics of the no deal in Dallas.
They developed CD. They drafted him. We know he had 1,000 more receiving yards than the next closest wide receiver on their team last year. They're not going anywhere without him, and they're sending a bad message by this not getting done. I don't know what CD is asking for, but I'm telling you this would be I would be basically like, what is this going to take? Because this sends a tone, and it sets a tone for the Dallas Cowboys, and they are sabotaging their season the longer this goes along.
Dan Orlovsky, I love that buzzword sabotage. Do you agree with Lewis that they're sabotaging the season if they don't get this deal done?
Oh, of course, but they started sabotaging their season the day after they got waxed by Green Bay and did absolutely nothing. They have done nothing since at home they got absolutely destroyed by a guy who was playing in his first season as a starting quarterback with a bunch of receivers that people were like, who are they? They got destroyed on both sides of football and did nothing. This is just falling in line. This is falling in line with exactly what happened on that day, that they just think that they can just show up. What would the Dallas Mavericks be without Luka Doncic? That's my son's favorite basketball player. What would they be? Because nothing. They would be nothing without him. That's exactly what the Cowboys would be offensively without CD. If you look at like the final 3 months of the season, I think it's 11 games, he was getting 13 targets a game. That's 35% of their offensive snaps pass game-wise. Of course they're sabotaging themselves. They already have. The season starts in 16 days, guys. Wake up, Dallas.
It is puzzling in that Jerry made that boat all in.
Oh, yeah.
Orlovsky said they all out. They haven't done anything this offseason to make Cowboys fans optimistic about what's going on. D. Woody?
Dan already spoke about it where CD is literally he's their whole passing offense. The fact that you haven't been able to sign CD, Dak Prescott, you haven't come to a contract with him. Michael Parsons, you haven't.
If you're
you've developed all this talent.
Are you frustrated as a player not named?
Look at this man's face. Of course he's frustrated.
I just want to see, if this thing shouldn't be hard. The Dallas Cowboys, if we're going to be real about it, they're one of the best teams at identifying talent and developing talent.
Totally.
But why aren't you taking that next step and making sure these guys that you've developed, they're there long term? What is the holdup? Other teams are able to do it. Philly is able to do it. San Francisco is able to do it. All these, Green Bay, Detroit. Look at what the Detroit Lions have done this offseason. They've locked up all of their key players. And we're sitting here with basically 2 weeks left, and the Dallas Cowboys, we're still having the same conversation. When is CeeDee Lamb going to get done? Like, what is Dallas doing? They're sleepwalking.
You know what the Cowboys are like? Jerry Jones is like that guy that you've been dating for 10 years, and he's like, don't worry, baby, I'm going to put a ring on it. And you're like,
Dating
okay,
for 10
cool.
years.
Cool. But you're still waiting. You're like, where is the ring? Where is it? Like, we have just been waiting, and Jerry's like, oh, we've had some promising talks. Like, I'm not worried. I'm not stressed at all. I know that CD knows that we want him, and I love him, and all this. But the guy's still not there. I will say, in defense of the Cowboys, I wouldn't use the word sabotaging. I feel like that's a little strong. Because let's say they get a deal done today. The guy's back on the practice field. If he's their entire offense, right, their whole passing it, everything flows through him, then all right, they just hit the ground running. But to Dan's point earlier, you're waiting for the all-in moves.
Right.
And I don't know, Jerry and I seem to have different ideas of what all-in means, but they did nothing in free agency. They brought back Ezekiel Elliott, who they thought a couple years ago, he's washed. Oh, no, now he's back. So I don't want to say they're sabotaging, though, because if you get him back in the fold, well, the season's here. The only question is if he gets hurt.
Here's what I want to say.
If he pulls a hammy early.
Here's what I want to say.
What you got to say?
You know who they're playing week 1?
Ooh, talk about it.
Browns.
Talk about it.
Cleveland. Has anyone seen that defense?
I have.
Those boys are, you talking about coming to a buzzsaw.
Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. The last time we saw Rodgers in a game was September 13th. So should we see him in the preseason finale? Or Mike Tannenbaum thinks he should.
He has not been tackled or pursued in live football in over a year. He's going to want to know, hey, can I still escape the same way? When you talk to players over the years, they are not fully healthy and cleared. They are medically, but until they're tackled, go to the ground and get back up. And despite a legendary career, 4-time MVP, we're talking about Aaron Rodgers, he needs to go to the ground and get back up because that's the one hurdle he has not cleared.
I love this topic. So, Dan, through a quarterback's eyes that doesn't run out of the back of the end zone, tell me why Aaron Rodgers should or shouldn't play in the preseason finale.
Yeah, it's 8:31, so we got 90 minutes left, bud. I mean, play in the preseason for what? to know he can take a hit? He's 40. I think we've got enough evidence to know that Aaron Rodgers can take a hit. Obviously, he's been there for 99% of their offseason and preseason work. They've got a ton of stuff. The reality is this, D. Wood, Kimberley, Matt, like, I want to do everything by a day-to-day basis to not have hits on Aaron Rodgers. I don't need to see if he can take a hit. I actually want to go as long as possible without him getting touched. Peyton Manning, Eli Manning style. So I don't need Aaron to prove to me that he can take a hit. He's going to get hit Monday night to start the season against the San Francisco 49ers. Playing him in the preseason would be ridiculous.
Would.
Listen, man, I appreciate Mike Tannenbaum because he contributed to a wing on my palace.
Grand piano.
Yeah, but man, I mean, come on, bro. Like, Aaron Rodgers, talking about one of the all-time greats. All he needs to roll out there and get hit in the preseason.
One series.
No,
Not
like
even got one.
Why?
No,
Why, Matt?
No.
Why? Tell me the why.
Like, what's the point? Like, why? Why even put yourself in that situation where you go out there and some cat from the Giants who's might not even make the team go out there and hit your quarterback, and your quarterback is out. Like we would literally fry.
That's it.
Robert Saleh if that situation were to arise. So no, man, you put him on ice. I don't want to see him until Monday Night Football, where I'll be over at Greeny's house watching this game.
Listen, we would rotisserie cook Robert Saleh if he put him out there and he got hurt. That is why I don't understand. And I was here yesterday for the crazy talk. I was here sitting in the seat, could not believe Mike Tannenbaum said it. My face, disbelief, because after what we saw last year, 4 plays, he came back, got healthy. Why would you put him out there for more of that? Why?
It's
Again,
also
it's preseason.
It's also this. If let's hypothetically say Aaron was going to play, you know what the plan would be? Hey, we're going to call some plays. He's not going to get hit. Like, we want quick game. We're going to throw a couple screens, move the pocket, and then you would tell Aaron, you don't take any any hit at all. That's
Any
unnecessary.
unnecessary,
So
You pull a Peyton Manning, just like
yeah,
drop to the ground.
even if he was going to play, and because they've had so many joint practices, he's got everything rep-wise of the feel of stuff. The goal for the Jets on a almost play-to-play basis this season is, 1, let's have a successful offensive play. 2, let's not get Aaron Rodgers touched.
All right, so I want to do this in unison. Can we make this happen? On the count of 3, we're going to all tell Mike Tannenbaum to shut up. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Shut up, Mike
Shut
T.
up.
There we go.
I can't. That's too mean. I love Mike.
We got the assignment. All right. So Mike Tannenbaum, I get it. Great. Not happening. Our next stop is in Philadelphia. Louis Riddick had this to say about head coach Nick Sirianni, who is entering a make or break season.
It's critical to allow the head coach to coach this football team on the grass. And when it's on the grass, it's his team.
Yeah.
Let him do it. From the boardroom, don't be trying to reach down onto the field and move things around and shape things in the way you see it. Let Nick Sirianni do his thing. People can start trying to put their hands into things that don't belong. Yeah. And that's how this kind of team could get screwed up.
Okay, Mart, is Louis right in this situation?
Yeah. The worst organizations that I've seen are the ones where from ownership or the GM doesn't let the football people who they hired do the football things. And I think when you put a staff together, you put people in position to carry out the vision that they sold you on when they got the job. I understand Nick Sirianni's under a lot of heat. It's not just him in that building. Everybody knows in Philly, there tend to be a lot of cooks in the kitchen. But Nick Sirianni did himself no favors last year, where his team starts 10-1 and then they completely free fall. And as the head coach, you can't stem the bleed. Like, you have no answers. And that's why he's on the hot seat, despite being in the Super Bowl 2 seasons ago.
Man, let me say this, man. Nick Sirianni, you talking about not let, the front office people or people upstairs interfering with Nick Sirianni? Did Nick Sirianni give Jalen Hurts any tools to pick up the blitz? Like, what are we talking about here? Like, Nick, we've changed coordinators. Okay, we've seen that happen multiple times in Philadelphia. The buck stops with Nick Sirianni now. Like, there's no one else you can point the finger at in Philadelphia but Nick Sirianni.
Especially with reports that those two, Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni, may have clashed last year.
Listen, I don't want to hear any excuses in Philadelphia. Oh. I don't want to hear you. Like, this roster is set. You got Saquon. You made all these moves. You got all these weapons on offense. I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to see any carryover from the second half of the season where the Philadelphia offense looked just bewildered and didn't know what the hell was going on.